Hello? I was reviewing a video gaming blog that I recorded, meanwhile checking up on this live stream, and just as I started setting up to mention what I'm going to mention, they were talking about it in the podcast here, and the topic is barely disguised aggression from this book, The 48 Layers and Laws of Power. The book gets a lot of hate. It's very disliked. And it's most likely because the book is a giant eulogy for everyone who lived in the 2,000 years before the year 2000, and even before that. It's one of the biggest feats ever. It's like the biggest, sort of like how Michelangelo had chipped away to create the Statue of David. It's sort of like that. So in Robert Greene's recent interviews, he finally admitted that he had perfectly disguised all of his aggression under these like different kings like Louis XIV and all these people who had lived centuries ago, when he was actually writing about people from his own life. So one of the hardest practices is extremely well disguised aggression rather than barely disguised aggression. For example, anyone who's named Joe, like the biggest disrespect could be talking about a Joey board. Here's just some results from it. I'm going to go ahead and open here to hear what Joe says.
I think that, if you're going to have...
I'm going to pause for just a second and open up a part of my video that I was reviewing right here. This is the one from today. These are two from yesterday, and there was two more that didn't capture well. So I'm going to press that one and load it. And it's supposed to be just like a quick TikTok type video.
And the lights are blinking, I'm thinking, it's all over.
Let's go out drinking.
Oh, making my mind slow. That's why I don't mess with the big 4-0.
Okay. And even meanwhile, I get these notifications for some reason with Reddit, Mantis. They can both go at the same time.
Probably should have an invitation as well, or you know what I mean? Because you really don't want to get into a point where it's just like who come on the show, what turncoats you like, and what turncoats you don't like. I mean, you hate rats, but not this one. So I just think you want to keep it like.
At the time, he was feuding with Stacks. Well, we had Stacks on the old show, and I had Stacks on New Theory talking about addiction. And then I think he's beefing with FPS, so I had on literally last night. But I didn't really go deep dive to either of them about the beef, because I'm not really about that. But that's some good feedback. I do think that there was a certain element of risk, and I'm glad I did it. And I think to an extent, I think it paid off.
And one other thing is, if Lee Cole or whoever it is going to come on the show, as long as they don't get on the show using that, using this platform to bash people or bash their adversary, then I think most people should be welcome to come on and, say their piece or whatever, because a lot of times it's a misunderstanding. Like what's driving these guys to go insane? We don't see all the background. We just see them on the screen. But what emails are they getting all day? Yep. What's going on in their life that day? You see the guy get on and he's pissed. You're like, man, this guy's crazy, but you don't really know what's being done behind the scenes.
Good point. Now, by virtue of the live that was a week and a half ago, the guys were at the house and it skipped over for a reason. We jumped on a live. That was another 3.5-hour event. That one did well. I think it got about 2,500 views, and not bad for live. Lives start off strong, but they generally peter out. So the views were good on that. That was drunken event, cigars, that kind of stuff. So, and I was having a rough day because Baby had a fever. I was maybe going to have to cancel. Vinny got there a little late. Joe got there on time. I got to give you guys a compliment. And this kind of goes, like different generations and stuff. Well, you guys, we're all kind of part of the same generation. So when I say, hey, I'm coming over this time, I come, right? If you guys ever deal with somebody generally a little younger, you get the, hey, I'm coming. Hey, I'm
going to go ahead and pause. I think Joe had mentioned, I don't know exactly what it was. I'd have to rewind. So let me go back to the YouTube video. Whatever he was talking about is exactly in line with what I'm trying to say about barely disguised aggression. I didn't catch it, though. I was messing with that note. I got distracted.
You guys were at the house, and I skipped over for a reason. We jumped on a live. That was another 3.5-hour event. That one did well. I think it got about 2,500 views, and not bad for live. Lives?
These guys to go insane. We don't see all the background.
Oh, that right there. That was the part.
piece or whatever, because a lot of times it's a misunderstanding. You know, like what's driving these guys to go insane? We don't see all the background.
What's driving the madness? That's exactly right. What Robert Greene is saying is, right, and Joe was talking about adversaries. Let me exit that. What's up? What is up? I don't know how to get out of that. Let me, home screen. Hope phone don't crash. Oh, come on. My back button is busted. Okay, good. I'm gonna press this button. Alright. And I'm gonna open the book over here. Yeah, this is a very important one about bad news. So here's the same book. Yeah, one of the most important things that Robert Greene talks about is barely disguised aggression. I can't remember what book, I don't remember what law, I don't remember what page or paragraph. It's probably about passive aggression. That's one of his reoccurring topics. He talks about it in almost every single book, even in this book, Mastery, the 4th book in the series. So a great example of very well disguised aggression is his books. He writes about Louis XIV and all different type of people. But who he's actually referring to are people from his own life, people who are close to him. You know, and that can be referenced in the law, keep your friends close, or whatever. I was going through this selected bibliography in the introduction. There's also one towards the end, and I found a book that's most closely related to this one, like its predecessor. And it's this one right here. So, in all likelihood, Robert Greene's master is the man who wrote this book, The Craft of Power. Copyright 1979. So that was 19 years published. Actually, no, it's 21 years. Wait, so if his book was published in 1998, that's 19 years. Yep. So let me check law number 19. In that case. Whoops. Yep. Know who you're dealing with. That's who he's dealing with. And that might be where the quote is about barely disguised aggression. The reason that I'm recording this vlog and sort of sending it out onto the internet is because we're this close to breaking Robert into admitting who he wrote this book about. He said in many interviews he'll never admit who the Hollywood directors that he was working for. He has said that he was working for HBO in the 80s. There's a lot of random stuff when it was still a relatively new company back then. The broadcasting, I can't ever remember what HBO stands for. He was like doing research. Anyways, that's a huge problem that I have. It's almost like I don't want to use the word addiction lightly. I'm addicted to barely disguised aggression. It's like super fun to try to break these laws intentionally. It's relatively harmless, virtually. That's all I'll say. I mean, I guess it's a practice, like anything else. Anyways, so that's all. Hopefully I can record some new vlogs. Let me show more of let me just reiterate what Joe said here because it fits in perfectly with what I'm saying.
That, you know, using this platform to bash people or
Yeah.
bash their adversary,
Agreed.
then I think most people should be welcome to come on and, you know, say their piece or whatever, because a lot of times it's a misunderstanding. You know, like what's driving these guys to go insane? We don't see all the background. We just see them on the screen.
So I've been mentioning this for so long, talking about the class of 1968, Franklin K. Lane in Brooklyn, New York City. That's what John Gotti Sr., former leader of the Italian-American mob, went to high school. I think he graduated. I'm not sure. Considering he didn't graduate, seeing who's in the yearbook, from everyone, from the faculty to the students, those would be the people that are ultimately responsible for driving him and bullying him and pushing him into to join the Italian-American mob, rather than become. There's a lot of people from Franklin K. Lane High in Brooklyn that became like famous, like very rich people, successful athletes and stuff from different points in history. Like one of them was from the 40s. Ultimately, they shut the school down because so many people wanted to go to the same high school of John Gotti, and I'm just saying, like, I've been trying to explain this for so long, and in the modern era, it's so much different. In the 1900s, all people had to go on was yearbooks, and in the 1800s, there was no such thing as yearbooks, and now with social media, it's like, forget about it. Anyways, let me just change the subject to end on a better note. This has a good sound because I have like a giant bag of subwoofers right here. It has two computer sound systems, one big subwoofer, one even bigger subwoofer right here. It's a big square. It's very heavy. And then sort of like smaller speakers. Here's my PlayStation joystick just for a visual prop. Computer for sound, and then the TV. I have a tripod here for the phone to record. I considered using like the neck holder, phone holder, just for another prop. What else? PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and then this one is sort of like the background. That's just a storage container and a bar stool, one nightstand, storage container, and then the TV. So it ended up falling yesterday in one of my videos, and I caught it. It didn't crash. And then I always have to show this. It's my, I want to make a strap so I can carry this backrest around. I have the bottom of the chair somewhere. It's right here. That's what my bag, big subwoofers in a bag, like Snoop Dogg's new song. And Snoop Dogg, in my opinion, gets his name from woof of a subwoofer. Anyways, like a dog would woof or bark. Here's the bottom of the chair. When I tried to take the armrest off, it fell into two pieces. And I want to attach that with some kind of strap so I can always have a backrest. Even if I'm just leaning against a wall, I could just lean back. Like Fat Joe says in his song Rockaway. Anyways, I'll just show this quickly again. I can't remember all the highlights of this video. It's on YouTube. That unintentionally yesterday. I remember it was Air Force Ones. The lights are blinking. I'm thinking it's all over. Might as well go out drinking. Oh, make my mind slow. That's why I don't mess with the big 4. Oh, the mainframe. I don't know if that probably wasn't audible because it's so loud over here on the video. I don't know if that was audible. A mainframe, as Don B. Real mentions in that song, Insane in Membrane, Cypress Hill. A mainframe computer is a macro software and hardware. And so the word Microsoft originates from a mainframe computer. It would be one giant computer that a lot of people at one company would be hooked up all into the same computer with different monitors, and then it branched off into individual personal computers. And I mention that because I've watched a whole lot of TV specials and documentaries from the 70s, 80s, even the 60s about computers, going back to the 40s, the earliest computer technology, and that someone always jumps in to say, well, there's software and hardware. And then, like, for example, in Rage Against the Machine song Testify, the quote that they use in the music video is when they're talking about soft money. I don't know, it's not really here nor there, but definitely check out Rage Against the Machine Testify song. There's also, I don't know, if I was talking to the guys on the podcast over here, I was thinking about, I don't know, if their podcast is named The Four Horsemen, I would consider myself like the lone horseman. And the scene is that reminds me of is in Mad Max. I think it's part 2. It's a scene that I'll never forget. I saw it growing up, and I'm always reminded of it at different random points. The scene is a desert, Mel Gibson on a horse with his hands tied behind his back, and the horse has, it's a desert, it has a little mirage that's strapped to its head, and it can see the water. It's like a cup of water in front of it, and it's eternally chasing the water for something to drink. And that just reminds me of also, well, so that's like the idea of the lone horseman. It's Mad Max Part 2, I think. I can never find that scene. I don't know what, at one point, I saw it on TV at a friend's house growing up, and I've never seen it again. I've never been able to track it down. Anyways, Limp Bizkit released a new video just a couple of days ago, and that was like not very long after I included and featured a cover version of Break Stuff, Limp Bizkit, also mentioned in one of my blogs when I showed double dribbling practice for basketball and tennis, using 2 rackets and bouncing 2 tennis balls, or dribbling 2 balls at the same time to practice. Basketball, Joey. No, I'm just joking. I'm not Joe King. I'm David. King David. No, I'm just joking. So, anyways, Limp Bizkit's new album is, I'll say it's, I've heard less than 5 minutes of it, and I'm impressed. Fred Durst, Dying of Thirst, like I just mentioned, the horse in the desert analogy. Wow, how can I wrap this up into a sane statement? The album is called Still Sucks. It has a playlist on Limp Bizkit's official YouTube channel that I can link to. Let me dip on the camera. I think it's just making me self-conscious. And definitely check out the new Limp Bizkit. The reason to check it out is because there's all these different Eminem news channels on YouTube, and they claim that Fred Durst has finally dissed Eminem, even though, coincidentally, Eminem and Dr. Dre are featured in Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff music video from the late 1990s. So I can't imagine why he would diss Eminem. So it's not much of a diss. I don't know. But someone in the comments on YouTube said, we're going to all be there, in reply to the news headline that Fred Durst dissed Eminem on their new album. One of the YouTube commenters had said, we're all going to be there at Fred Durst's career's funeral. So I replied, I wrote his career's headstone or gravestone that said, or tombstone, whatever, that said, Fred Durst died of thirst. Like a desperation. Anyways, that's all. I'll see if I can find a couple more highlights from this video. Oh, Lorenzo. Yeah, so Lorenzo rims are mentioned. Ice Cube mentioned them, and a lot of his famous songs. 50 Cent on his first album mentions Lorenzos. For example, rolling in a benzo. They're just that's a brand of rims. This hotel in Los Santos is called the Banner Hotel. There's a blue sign over here, and I don't know why it's called Banner.
Let me change the song.
That's where it says Banner. I changed the song to a highly recommended song, Black Sheep, This or That. Its official title is The Choice Is Yours Revisited, I think, in parentheses. And the sound at the beginning of the music video is identical to the sound of me up in the ringtone volume. It goes blip, blip, and it's a identical sound. That's not the only one that I've found. In Ohio Player's 1970s song, Love the Roller Coaster, I can hear the dial-up 56K modem sound. It means 56 kilobytes per second internet connection from the 90s. I'm not going to try to recreate it. That reminds me, in Limp Bizkit's new song, they have a lot of that NWS test sound that's like and that is the weather. Octung, weather alert. Wow, this vlog was supposed to be like 2 minutes, and now it's 20 minutes, so wonderful.
Oh, he said the stadium. This is like the fastest route. It's one of the only good raceways.
Yeah, so I have NASCAR sounds. I have the sound of a souped-up Supra with 800 horsepower to replace the sound in the game. I have yet to add real gunshot sounds because on the sound system that I have, it would just be too authentic. But here's how that sounds.
In the city. Oh, I remember in the video yesterday she say that it doesn't even...
So here's where I add the supercharger. It's locked. I have to win 50 races in the game to be able to get that tiny little blue amount of acceleration in the car, and instead of that, I just added the supercharger sound of the Supra.
Upgrade the sound at all.
Sound,
Okay, here's a...
sound of the car starting up and everything.
Wow, that sounds...
It's like extremely loud. I think some racing around the stadium over here. I should have said right here at this point, Debbie, watch where you're going. Like, keep your eyes on the road. She looks up. Coincidentally, unfortunately, La Bamba song was playing in the background from one of my other Vespucci Gaming Dictator Regime Simulator video game. And at this point, I would have wanted the NASCAR sound because each pillar that she passes could be like, woo, woo, make that whizzing sound. GTA should be renamed James Bond Stunt Simulator because that's the type of thing that this video is.
Yo, David.
For example, hitting this ramp, you know, James Bond movies were the first ones to do that type of thing. Like really awesome stunts for movies. Anyways, that's all. Blog over. And that video can be found on my YouTube channel. I was thinking about renaming it James Bond Stunt Simulator. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna record another one. It's officially called David and Debbie do Los Santos a huge favor. Actually, that's not the name of it. Let me check the name of it just to be sure. So, I was thinking about, because at the beginning of this video, I showed the notes of trying to get a loan from foreign banks. I'm not saying it's a scam. I'm just saying if a person is in our country, like willingly, like, there's a video of Don David, that's his last name, Patrick Bet David. If Don Bet David, there's a video of him going to someone who signed up for his mentorship course, and he shows up with a camera crew in a golf club and goes inside his house and smashes his TV and Xbox. And he's from the Yemeni military that I always mention, because I think everyone who goes online is like astounded at people who have anonymous accounts. And what I've been saying lately is that I'm pretty sure they work for the Yemeni military, as in, like, it's like the smallest country in the Middle East, Yemen, and they get paid because they're, like, not allowed to disrespect anyone in their area. So they email us in America, you know, that's just what they do. And so the idea is, if I called Yemen to try to get a loan and blame Don David for doing that type of thing, I don't approve. I disapprove Don Patrick Bet David. Although I do approve of all his interviews. It's really a great channel over here. It's easy to remember, it has a good name. Lots of value, lots of entertainment. If it was just value, in my opinion, he would have not made the bad decision of smashing the guy's Xbox, who signed up for his mentorship course. That's, if entertainment wasn't part of the name, if it wasn't entertaining, and if it was just value, you know, it would be more like this over here. So, anyways, I'm just joking with that. That's all. Here's the videos I was talking about. Oh, it's called Offensive Driving Lessons from 1 hour ago, the video I've been showing. David and Debbie doing Los Santos a favor. I uploaded these two to Facebook. Brazilianaire, I coined that term yesterday. So yeah, this video is ultimately for Facebook. So, wow. I think I'll briefly promote
All
this.
the way to the highest, which is technical. So what is a line chart? Analyzing the numbers over time. You're looking for trends, and it's one-dimensional. Pretty much the chart you're looking at on the screen, that's what it's going to look like. Okay? Column chart, you're comparing 20.
Okay, I remember the diss. I was trying to think. Joey has escaped this Joey board. That's like an extremely potent virtual diss that I have written. The other one was Charlie Chaplin's stash has been trimmed by Jerry Kraut. Roger? Or How Copy? It's like sort of disrespecting the conflict in Vietnam and the Second World War in one sentence. So Joey has escaped his Joey board. How Copy? Video over.